And today's topic is exercise. Do you know the four main categories or forms of exercise and why they are so important to health? Well, stay tuned as I discuss those today. What's up guys, CW here again from Consider It Health, where I consider some of the big topics in health today. And today's topic is exercise, but specifically the different types of exercise. And so I'm just going to jump in on why these four categories are so important. Now before I do that though, I want to caveat by saying that most types of activity or exercises don't neatly fall into each one of these categories exclusively. They often tend to overlap. And so I just want to keep that in mind as I start jumping in. So the first form of exercise is aerobic exercise, also known as cardio. Now, like the word cardio signifies, it gives a good benefit to the heart and the cardiovascular system. Now, if you check up the different types of exercise on different websites or organizations, almost always aerobic exercise is listed number one, and for good reason. Heart disease is still the number one killer of Americans today, so having a good cardiovascular or aerobic exercise regimen in your week-to-week routine is actually crucial for decreasing your risk of having heart disease later on. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, the Office of Disease Prevention and Health Promotion, that's a long department name, generally adults are recommended to have about 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise every week, and that's spread throughout the week, or 75 minutes of high intensity aerobic exercise spread throughout the week. Now, there's also recommendations for people of other ages, and so I'll actually include a link below where you can look at those recommendations. So activities that fall within this category of aerobic exercise includes things like jogging, swimming, water aerobics, dancing, and even activities from day to day like gardening. So I think it's safe to say that almost anybody can find some type of aerobic exercise they can do throughout the week. Now the second type of exercise is strength training. Now strength training is basically exercises that involve strengthening the musculoskeletal system through resistance and load. Now this type of exercise is important for people of all ages, but more and more so as people get older, specifically because there is loss of muscle mass and also decrease in bone density as people age. Now one of the scariest things one can think about is falls, and so basically having strength training in the routine can decrease the chances of that happening. Now, it's not just the falls that we're worried about, but basically strength training can also help with a host of other factors. For example, for diabetes and prediabetes, regular strength training can actually help decrease blood sugar by increasing the uptake of sugar into the muscle cells through a transporter called GLUT4. And so that's just another example, but there's a host of other benefits with strength training as well. Now I mentioned strength training involves resistance and load, and this can be done in a host of ways. Some people will use machines, others will use barbells, dumbbells, and some will use resistance bands. And actually if you don't have any of those, you can use your own body weight. So good old calisthenics, push-ups, sit-ups, those things that we remember from junior high PE class, those can be good strength training types of exercises. And before I get to the third point, if you're enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up and click the subscribe button and the notification bell. Thank you. And the third type of exercises are flexibility exercises, which are exercises that increase a joint's range of motion or just increase one's mobility overall. And so we know how important these things are, but yet so often they're neglected, even though we also see athletes have their trainers regularly stretch them before a game, or the athletes themselves are stretching. So this is often neglected, but very critical. The thing is, when we have limited range of motion in one joint or one part of the body, we tend to overcompensate by using another joint or another part of the body, and that often can result in injury to that other part. So just as an example, someone that has knee pain, they tend to favor the other knee, and then eventually they may actually get pain in that other knee as well. Or sometimes it could be a different part of the body. So for example, someone has knee pain, they may end up having low back pain then can cause muscle tightness in the neck can cause migraines. So it could be a chain effect, and so the whole body is connected. And so flexibility, mobility, that's actually quite important for preventing injuries and actually helping overall. So there are different types of stretching, including active and passive, dynamic and static. And some people will do activities like yoga, or others will use foam rollers and lacrosse balls to enhance their mobility. Whatever choice you make to do flexibility exercises, just try to incorporate it into your routine, because it will just be beneficial and it will help decrease risk of injury, and it's just a good thing overall for the body. And last but not least, the fourth category of exercise is balance. Now, balance exercises help provide stability, and again, as we mentioned earlier, can decrease the risk of falls. So just as an example of why this is so important, right? So if someone's at the gym, they're cycling or they're squatting or lifting, if they don't have balance, that could be a dangerous thing. Or of course, if let's just say as a day-to-day example, you are climbing on a step stool or on a ladder, you're cleaning out your gutters, balance is super important. So that should be an important part of the routine and part of the exercises that you do on a week-to-week basis. So the type of exercises that fall under balance include things like yoga, tai chi, Pilates, and then some younger athletes might like to use things like Bosu balls or even like a balance board, slack line. And then for the rest of us though, you may not need any equipment at all, or of course if you wanted to, you can add resistance bands. But I think the most important thing is just to have some form of balance exercise in your week-to-week routine. So like I mentioned earlier, most activities or exercises that people do already have a blend of one or two or more of these categories already. But if not, you can find creative ways to add in more variety and incorporate a different form of exercise into your established routine. So just as an example, if you are a jogger or a walker, you can add weights and that will add strength training. Or if you're a cycler, of course you can turn up the resistance, and that is a mix of strength training plus cardio or aerobic exercise. Or let's say you're at the gym, you like to do weights, you can add a Bosu ball and that will add some balance. So there's creative ways of doing this, you just have to find them. And of course you can always consult a fitness trainer, or if you have access to a physical therapist, they should be able to help you as well. At the end of the day though, we as healthcare practitioners would just love our clients and patients to be moving and doing some forms of exercise, whatever it is, because it's going to be beneficial to the body and the mind. But I think it's helpful to have this discussion that we've had today because it may help improve your exercise routine and variability. And so just think about that the next time you guys are exercising. What new movements or what new exercises can you incorporate? And until the next episode, be well.